The intro song, So Twice, I used it nice. Welcome to the Jimmy Curve.
You just rhymed.
I liked that song a lot. We used it on the last episode. I thought I'd use it again because it sounds super cool. Hey, welcome to the show. Here are your co-hosts, Will Dougherty and Joshua Vossler.
I thought I was good.
I like to shake things up.
You said it too fast, and now there's no system. This is anarchy.
I am your host, Jimmy Putnam. And here are your co-hosts, Joshua Vossler.
Hello, everybody.
And Will Dougherty.
Once again, order.
That intro song was by the band Saxophone. Check them out whenever you can find them. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, like us on Facebook. We got a great show for you today. We're going to do Will Dougherty's Slop 40 segment, where we are going to delve into the depths of what makes Jason Derulo's trumpets and Tove Lo's habits, I think are the names, what
Correct.
they are, and then tear them apart and make fun of them. And then later on, we're going to do some news with Joshua Vossler. But first, it's your plug. Thank you to my good friend Eric Green for tweeting at us with the hashtag #PlugMeJimmy. He'd like us to tell you about his dinner theater Christmas-themed murder mystery show he's doing called Murder Under the Mistletoe. So go check that out. It's like a dinner theater Christmas-themed murder mystery. It's everything I just said.
And more.
That's what it is. It's $35 with a meal included, taking place at the Millard Plaza Ballroom at 5339 South 139th Plaza in Omaha, Nebraska. You can get your reservations by calling 402-250-3139. Check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. It's running on the weekends all the way through January 3rd. It's your plug.
I'd like to make note that's the first time anybody's ever used hashtag #PlugMeJimmy.
I know. Well,
it's not a total failure now.
Actually, he did it like a week and a half ago, but I had stopped checking it, so I didn't see it for last week's episode. Otherwise, we would have plugged him then.
Like I said, not a total failure.
So, because of me, unfortunately, you've all missed opening night, but not a total failure. No,
right.
This is how it starts.
Things are looking up.
Right, one time, and then you pick up momentum.
As long as they didn't miss closing night, we're cool.
That's right. So check that out before Christmas. Hey, let's get to our very special guest today. He is our good friend Jason Gisselman. Normally I say he's a comedian performing all over town, but it's just Jason.
That would be a lie.
Hey.
Hello.
You can catch him playing in City League basketball games.
This is true every Monday night.
You can catch him at your local tavern or pub.
And that's the rest of the nights.
Hanging out most nights. Where else can we find you?
Those are two good places to find me.
We'll start there. Jason is our first non-comedian we've had on the show. Although not entirely. You have performed stand-up comedy twice?
Twice, yeah. Or 3 times, maybe.
Well, I've taught, Josh was telling me about it. He said you have tried it, and he said it went well. So
initially,
yeah,
the first time.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so here's how I got into and out of comedy. Josh and I have been friends for about 7 years, and he reaches out to me. He's living in Fairbury at the time, but making the trip to Lincoln to do open mics. And he reaches out to me and lets me know that he's been doing it for a few months, and he's ready to do it in front of someone that he knows. So,
wait, so you started out as a test audience?
He'd been doing it at Duffy's. I just joined in the crowd. He'd been doing it in front of strangers, and now he wanted me to come watch her. I ended up there.
So you were coming out of the closet as a comedian?
Yes, to all my closest friends and relatives.
So I go, and we're about halfway through the night, so it's about midnight or so, and we've been drinking. We're a little liquored up, and Josh goes to me, "Jason, you should try this." And drunk Jason goes, Yeah, I should try this. Of course I should try this. I tell him next week I'm doing it. So I wrote a 5-minute set, and the following Monday I went up and did my time.
And you did well.
I felt like it went well, yeah.
At Duffy's?
At Duffy's, yeah.
And then you did it a second time after that.
And then I do it a second time. The first time, it couldn't have gone better, though. I got a perfect time slot, and the people I went in between, there was enough of a crowd there, but the bar wasn't set too high.
Nice.
Wasn't too low. I got in, did my set, felt like it went well. Got some compliments afterward.
Go fuck yourself. I just did comedy.
Boom.
So then I do it a few weeks later, get the 1:30 slot on a Monday night.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it was, no. Mm-mm.
That
was
guy
the
isn't
last-
funny.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. Do you find that you dabble in lots of things? Because this may be arrogance also, or it may be a lack of self-esteem. I don't know. But if I'm not kind of good at something right away, I immediately give up.
Oh, absolutely.
Do that a lot.
Yeah.
And part of that comes from I find that I am reasonably competent at most things I try pretty quickly, and I didn't ever really learn until much later in life to like work hard at things I sucked at. And I kind of did that with music. Like I worked really hard at playing instruments for a long time until I could kind of do it. But that's really the only thing, stand-up is really the first thing I'm going through where I am sticking with something that I fail at a lot. And I don't like it. I don't like that feeling.
That's what I got out of it.
Right. Are there other things where you've like, oh man, I tried this, but this is hard. Josh is laughing. Josh, what has Jason failed at?
Well, I'm at my third college right now, so
What's your major in college?
advertising.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one of those jobs where when you get out of college, the job is like more work than school is.
Well, I hope not.
I mean, you never really get to just clock in and clock out without working really hard at advertising, I feel. No? I don't know.
I mean, if you were to sum up, like, I feel like there was a week where Jason decided he wanted to be a really good guitar player and singer.
That was a fun week.
Singer-songwriter, write a screenplay and a children's book.
Wow. That's ambitious.
Those are 3 different weeks.
Right. That guitar is in my basement. It's been in my basement for, I don't know, probably 7 months.
The better part of a year.
Better
yeah.
part of a year,
Yeah.
I would say, actually, yeah. Yeah. It's his, it's I call his guitar, it's in a case. I call it my guitar stand because my guitar just sits on top of his guitar. So,
Will, you're the only person here who doesn't have a guitar.
Yeah. I'm well aware that I'm incompetent in and around music. Like, I've failed at everything except comedy. So that's my stance.
Check that box.
Yeah. That's Jason, you're a big sports fan. Sometimes it's hard to do a show because Josh is also a big sports fan. It's all I want to talk about a lot of the time. But Will is like a sports negative energy vortex. And it's really hard to keep a dialogue about sports going when you make a comment and then Will just looks at you blankly like, when are we gonna get to old Nintendo games?
He's creating balance for the show.
Oh, like a Sith.
Will's never been told that he's created balance before.
I mean, if you want to talk about NBA Jam, I mean, I'm down.
Dude, NBA Jam was the bomb.
I mean, they just released they released a new version for the Xbox 360 that was actually excellent. A lot of those retro revivals go to hell, but
See, and then the same thing for video games. I tune out. I can't. Video games, I don't know. You guys, Jimmy, you could talk about anything.
Right.
Like he talk about video games. I can't talk about video games, but I can talk about sports. So
My thing is politics. When politics come up, I just
right, yeah, you don't like politics.
I just don't care. I don't really have an opinion. It's hard for me to pay attention.
That sounds insane.
Well, why?
Like, oh, I'm capable of having thoughts and opinions about, like, which one of these people can run a faster 40, but, like,
Yeah.
politics, like, people who are making laws and, determining
Right.
our taxes and,
Yeah.
things that actually affect me, like, who can pay attention?
I have no defense for myself. That's just true.
Like, at least my unreasonable, like, obsession with video games is actually how I spend my time, not the way
Right.
I watch other people spend their time.
Yeah, I can't defend myself.
I just have a problem.
It's, but it's just you can't make yourself be interested in things. By the way, I don't know that this is
Really?
a great way to create
I
interest.
have some sexually confused Republicans who disagree.
Oh man, we can get into that. Yeah, no, I don't know that it's a great way to start out a podcast, bringing up things that don't interest us, and then staring awkwardly. Here's a topic of conversation I have nothing to say about: politics. Will?
I was just racking my brain to see if I knew how to make a cricket noise. And I came up negative. And it was immediately followed by the thought, does tumbleweed make a sound?
It's the sound of tumbling.
I can't do it.
Not you tumbling, a weed tumbling.
Right.
Not you choking.
And Will, my counter to you saying video games affects you personally, you ever heard of gambling?
I have heard of gambling.
Sports affect me personally.
All right, Jason, you just came from playing basketball today. My guess for your stats earlier was 5 for 20 shooting, 14 points, 3 rebounds, no assists. You don't seem like you want to give up the rock once you get it.
Who does?
Right. Seem like kind of a chucker. Launch a lot of shots from the outside.
I feel like you've seen me play.
Yeah. He's the LeBron James's cousin of the YMCA.
It's actually my nickname on the court.
It's kind of long, but it fits. It's fitting.
Yeah, Jason also arguably the most athletic guest we've had so far. Like, I couldn't play basketball. I'm physically incapable of it at this point. Like, I just can't. I used to play lots of sports, but those days are long gone. How old are you?
26.
Yeah. So,
But I don't pride myself on my athleticism. I pride myself on my GM skills. I
Oh,
make
yeah?
sure that I organize the team for every league I play in.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the worst player on a good team than the
Nice.
guy, throwing it up 30 times a game and then losing
Right.
by 40.
Go around and ingratiate yourself to all the 6'7" guys at the gym.
Man, now, maybe I'm confused here, but I would think as the GM, you would have to recuse yourself from betting on the games. It seems like a conflict of
Well,
interest.
I don't think he's betting on
This
City
isn't,
League
this
basketball.
isn't the NBA, yeah.
I do like that idea though. Like, Jason's running a City League basketball gambling
Gambling ring,
circuit.
that's right.
He's point shaven.
We're going to have our fantasy website up in a week.
Yeah, that would be nice. Mark the Mechanic going first round. All right, so, but you are a sports fan. I guess the biggest sports news is Ray Rice got reinstated into the NFL this week. My question is, can we riot now? Like, I've been doing a stand-up bit about.
Do you mean white people?
I mean people who are outraged that a crime was legitimately committed and it seems to be overlooked. Like, here's the thing. Generally, when celebrities are accused of committing crimes, someone immediately shouts out, allegedly. Except
Right.
this is, like, Ray Rice is on video committing the crime he's accused of committing, and people seem to stop caring awfully fast. And he got reinstated into the NFL. I don't think there's a criminal trial. And that sucks, right?
Well,
Yeah, well, rankings are already set at this point in the year for fantasy football, so whatever.
Playoffs already started.
Yeah.
You don't want him.
I mean, I don't know the sports news, But my understanding of it from like what I've heard in conversations that I couldn't get out of is that the reason like it didn't move forward is because his wife refused to press charges, and like if she didn't wish to carry it forward, like it didn't go forward.
Right. I think that is correct. Should that be? Is that right? Do we agree with that? Do we agree with our laws operating that way? Because here's the thing: people don't always make the decisions that are the best for them or people in. I mean, there are reasons why there are rules for things. To use a sports analogy, fighters aren't allowed a lot of the time to determine when the fight that they're in should be stopped. Like there's a referee for that, and they have a coach who can throw in the towel because they will never quit. They'll take a beating until they die. A lot of them will. Like you can't allow victims to determine when a prosecution should go forward, right?
Well, there's video before they even get on the elevator, and she was hitting him, and she was being violent towards him, and he was like trying to kind of pull away from her, and he was the first one to get in the elevator. Now, if you charge him with domestic assault because he knocked her out, you got to kind of charge her too for domestic assault because she committed the same crime. Maybe not as severe, obviously, but technically she committed a domestic assault upon him.
This
as well.
sentence, this line of argument is like a very slight shift in tone away from "bitch had it coming."
No, I'm just saying, like, as far as filing charges go, technically, if you want to be fair,
You're right.
as far as the justice system goes, is that
Well,
a prosecuting attorney should prosecute both of them for domestic assault. Well, it's kind of like fighting by mutual consent. The courts is going to be a kind of just like,
But
it's a wash.
Aren't you also kind of saying that attempted murder and murder are the same thing? In terms of, like, what you're punishing is what the person was trying to do, not the result or the effect. I kind of believe that. I think attempted murder, just because the person didn't die, you still tried to kill somebody. Like, attempted murder should be the same punishment as murder.
Well,
That's it.
I think that's a little different, though.
yeah, like
In this case, the assault, she slapped him, he slapped her. Since he's bigger than she is, the repercussions and effects were a little worse, but it's assault just the same.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was a lot of fun.
To the NFL point, though, that you made initially,
Yeah.
I think it's two different things. I think the
Right.
NFL suspended him for 2 games. The NFL screwed up when they didn't have a domestic abuse, domestic violence written into their law beforehand.
Right.
So they're scrambling. I don't think the law and the NFL are the same.
Well, yeah, well, and it's because there's a difference between like whether or not legally like it should be able to be held accountable. Like the NFL doesn't have to employ him.
Right.
And that's not a legal question. They can say like we don't hire people who are on video punching their wives. Like you can just say that.
Right.
well, I'll say this too. Like
Shouldn't they?
she's called a reluctant witness. She would not. She didn't want to testify against him.
Right.
In most states, you can't compel a spouse to testify against their spouse.
Right.
So it's a case like it wouldn't be worth taking up because your key witness / victim, you can't compel them to do anything. You can't compel them to testify. So all you have is
The video of it happening.
Right.
the video. But like I said, the video doesn't fare well for her either. So you know what I mean? It's like,
So they're just calling it a wash.
yeah, basically.
I just think it's weird that the NFL is like, well, she's fine with it. Let's bring them back in. I just think that's very strange.
Well, you know, and then his attorney is like, listen, this happened a while ago. They've gone to counseling and they're married now. Like that,
Right.
that does play a
Right.
part. There's a reason why they do that. And then the attorney says, yeah, they're fine now.
Well, my understanding of what actually happened, though, was he was suspended 2 games before the video was ever released.
Correct.
Right.
And then after it was released, they suspended him indefinitely. Well, the NFLPA and Ray Rice, they appealed that, and an arbiter said it's double jeopardy. You already suspended him for two games for that incident. You can't suspend him again for the same incident. That's my understanding of why he is now reinstated.
Right. And Baltimore is a non-extradition city. I don't know. It's not laws. You're right. It's just a private company. Like they can do whatever they want, but it's I don't know. let's move on from domestic disputes and violence to other things that are bothersome that we're worried about. It's a weird way to transition out of that. I don't know how to transition.
You can't.
Well, that was weird. Let's
Yeah, there's no easy way to transition out of domestic abuse, which you'd know if you've seen the Ray Rice video. It was not a smooth transition.
No. I'm going to try it with a goofy drop I edited together. About to open up a can of thoughts. This is a segment where I just want to talk about things that bother me, really, and give my thoughts on them. And so this is what I was thinking of. I was thinking of there are all these personality traits that people accuse you of having in a negative way. And I first of all, it bothers everybody to be called something that you don't think you are. But sometimes maybe that's not even such a bad thing. I'll get specific, so I'm not just talking about esoteric, weird ideas. I get called impatient a lot, and it kind of bothers me because I don't always feel like I am impatient. But recently I was thinking, like, why is that such a bad thing? What's so bad about being impatient? All it means is that you're either in a hurry to get somewhere or you expect things to be efficient or better right away, and it bothers you to have to wait for them. Like, I freak out during situations where, like, I'll be headed into a restaurant and there will be two people standing in the doorway having a conversation. That drives me nuts because, and somebody will say, oh, just be patient. They'll move eventually. Why? They're in the fucking way. Get out of the way. Or if you're driving on the highway and it's a 65-mile-an-hour zone and there's 3 lanes and there's a car in all 3 lanes right next to each other going 58. I can't stand that. I don't feel like it's my fault for being impatient or that there's anything wrong with getting frustrated in that situation. I feel like people are in the way.
Yeah, I think like impatient, like as a negative, would be like if it's something you can't change, like your computer starting up, and you're so impatient it infuriates you, and you
Right.
almost break your computer. Like I get impatient on stuff like I can't even do anything about. I should just like not let it. It causes brain aneurysms. I know this, I don't want that. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, I sometimes think, I just ate, but I can't wait for my next meal to get here. Like I have that kind of impatience, or certainly when your electronic devices don't work the way they should work. That's just completely aggravating. Oh, or when you're waiting for your sports game to start, your basketball game or whatever that you want to watch, but there's another game on the same channel and it goes into overtime. That drives me fucking crazy. Like, I can't stand that. But
Right, or you're waiting for a package to arrive, but it's not FedEx, it's the post office, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
or you're watching, or you're waiting for your pot of water to boil, and you just won't, and you keep staring at it, and it never boils.
And you're so impatient,
You're
like
so
you get out a lid and put it on there because you know it'll boil faster.
Or you turn your back for just a second, and then it boils just to fuck with you. Impatience. No, it's true though. Like people are always telling me to calm down. It's mostly with people. Like I understand with stuff you can't control, but it's impatience with people. Go ahead, Will.
Well, I was going to say, like, yeah, with people, that's the exact point at which it goes from, like, a quirk to a flaw. If it affects
Right.
the way you handle dealing with people, if you're imposing your impatience upon other people, even if you perceive them to be in the way, like, there's kind of a difficult spot
Don't
there.
stop and have conversations in a doorway. If you're doing that and I'm trying to get into the building, I am not at fault for being impatient. You're at fault for being in the way. And what am I trying to think of? I feel like people are being inconsiderate.
Or like, where the fuck is my pizza guy? I ordered pizza fucking a half hour ago. Guess what? Minimum tip.
Guess what? 31 minutes, big zero in the line. Circle slash.
Joshua, you had one.
Yeah. I maybe not necessarily have this personality trait, but I think it's demonized. unjustly, and it's greed. And
All right.
I would say that most greed is probably good. It's the greed that is at the expense of others is that gets noticed and gets all the negativity. I think a lot of greed is good, as long as it's not at the expense of others. Or you can say selfishness. I've been called selfish before, I guess.
You know what is just occurring to me? These both of our thoughts have the same problem, which is that they're not inherently bad. It's when you act out and it causes you to do. Like if there are two people standing in a doorway and I'm trying to get in and I just punch one of them out to get into the building, well, now I've crossed the line. Now my impatience has caused a negative result. You know, or if your greed,
But somehow it didn't get you fired from your cushy NFL job.
right. The same thing with greed. Like the desire to acquire wealth is not inherently bad, unless you're hurting people to do it. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that, and I think another part of it is it gets demonized too because we're human and we want that too, and we're jealous. Like there's jealousy involved in that too.
Greed could be synonymous with dedication or commitment.
That's
right.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't just like. Do you play the lottery because you're greedy, or because
You play the lottery because you're dumb.
right? But you're dumb enough to think that you can be a millionaire by paying $2.
Yeah, but
you can be.
that's not greed though. That's like everybody desires wealth. Playing the lottery is more about laziness. Like greed, if you're greedy, or if is greed defined as just the desire to accumulate wealth? Sorry,
Yeah,
I choked myself thinking.
It's the intense desire for money, power, and it said or food.
Right. So,
Oh, I'm greedy.
so yeah. So like playing the lottery is just the desire. Is not that. It's just the desire to have that without working for it or to take a short. I mean, it's just laziness. Like playing the lottery is what people do out of laziness. Because like, in a sense, everybody has greed is like autism. You're somewhere on the spectrum. Like no one has zero greed.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being rich.
Right. Exactly.
I'd be okay with it.
Right. You know, and you know, the desire to work hard to do that, I don't think is a negative trait.
No, not at all. I think, like I said, I just think like, oh, you want this, or you want to buy a $1 million yacht because you're a billionaire. Well, that's greedy. Is that greedy?
Wait, what? Spending your money on an eccentricity?
Yeah. Does that make you greedy?
No, that makes you just want to have a thing that you can have. There's nothing wrong. Is that greedy?
I think having $1 billion makes you greedy. I'm pretty sure
Right.
at that point, like, there's
Does
a degree of wealth past which, like, here, like, the acting self-interestedly is on some level the basis of our entire economy, and I can appreciate that. But our economy is failing. That's what, like, and it's because we've allowed this to run unchecked for so long.
Amok.
The fact that we have, like, I'm going to make up the statistics because I don't remember exactly what it was, but something like 35 people who control the same amount of wealth as, like, the bottom 50% of the country. Like, that's our economic system failing because it's allowing individuals to, like, just act greedily unchecked.
The thing is like, I don't think that's true. I think it's hard to blame the economy for that, considering the fact that most billionaires and millionaires aren't just sitting on a hoard of money. They reinvested it in businesses where other people make money off of those businesses, and they buy $1 million yachts that take 500 people to build and trade to, you know, and all sorts of things, resources and money and everything to build a yacht. So it's not, if anything, it's not like they don't stimulate the economy at all.
Net worth doesn't make it's all liquid, essentially.
Right.
It doesn't, but I mean, just by definition, like a million or a billionaire, like a figure, you know, like that, yeah, they spend a lot of money. But if you take $1 billion and you give it to a billionaire, there's only so much more money they can spend on things they want. You take $1 billion and you spread it through the lowest rung of society, it all gets spent on things they need. Like, that saying that they spend a lot. Of course they do.
Are you
but
just
anybody can spend money?
is what I feel like, Will? I feel like you have this idea that billionaires just have a giant Scrooge McDuck style vault with gold coins that they're swimming around in. Like, I don't think that's
First
the case.
of all, Jimmy, I understand that the billionaires can't actually swim in their gold vaults.
That would hurt.
All right, it's a solid. All right, at best you could get some sort of skiing situation where you're gliding along the surface. Boom, nailed it.
I don't know. I just don't know that that's necessarily the case. I think, like Josh said, I mean, money, it's not, like Jason said, it's not all liquid. Like, the money's investment capital is the engine that drives our economy, or it should be. It's not. It isn't always the case. Sometimes the money is spent frivolously, but it doesn't just disappear. It's not just sitting in a room not doing anything, or it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's when I say investment, it's like they're taking risks that nobody else could take. A, because they don't have enough money.
Yeah,
And B, they became billionaires because they made a lot of risk. So they basically take that money and risk it again basically to benefit the other people within that company that they're investing in.
How about this idea? Maybe the negative version of greed is hoarding. Like, because I feel like that's kind of more what you're talking about, is people who are hoarding wealth, which is not necessarily the same thing.
I don't disagree with that, but I think I have a different definition of hoarding than you, because, like, in my mind, going back to what I said earlier, I feel like you can't personally accumulate $1 billion without that counting as a hoard.
You can.
$1 billion is a hoard of dollars.
Yeah. I guess I don't understand your point, because you can't acquire $1 billion without wanting $1 billion. Like, you can't accidentally do it, but you can acquire $1 billion just by being good at stuff. Like, you can,
Yeah, making stuff that people want.
right. Or
Like-
or just being really good at things.
And I think you could even make the same argument Will made against the billionaire for the bottom 50%. The guy with $1 billion buys $1 million yacht, right? He buys something he wants. Well, if you would take his $1 billion, disperse it among the bottom 50%, they're going to buy what they need. But then they're going to buy what they want. They have the same human wants, needs, desires as a billionaire. The billionaire just worked harder and was smarter about it.
Yeah.
So he has more money. He can buy better things.
Do you feel like we're ganging up on you, Will?
Yeah, kind of, but as a poor person, I'm used to that.
That was fun. Well, you get your chance for revenge against those elites now, because your segment's coming up next. Coming up next is Will Dougherty's Slop 40, in which we dissect pop songs that our listeners probably love. In fact, I've already had some negative feedback from an old Slop 40 episode in which my friend Adam attempted to convince me that that Meghan Trainor song was a good song. It is not. It is definitively not all about that bass. It is not a good song. But so let's get into it. It's Will Dougherty's Slop 40.
That's the person I am.
The views and opinions expressed by Will Dougherty do not necessarily reflect those of the Jimmy Curve podcast.
So the first song we're going to be talking about today is called Trumpets by Jason Derulo.
Every time that you get undressed, I hear symphonies in my head. I wrote this song just looking at you. Yeah, the drums they swing low, and the trumpets they go. And the trumpets they go.
Oh, rocking some unlicensed music on the Jimmy Curve. We're pretty sure it's legal. Okay, so that's the song. This is a phrase I'm going to say a lot during this segment about this song. I am not a musician. Okay? I want to start by saying that.
Because I want to let everyone know that while I was playing that, we were all dancing. So, continue.
This song is called Trumpets, but what he's talking about is symphonies. Like every time that you get undressed, I hear a symphony in my head. That's what he's saying. But the only instruments he makes reference to are drums and trumpets.
Right.
That's not what a symphony is. That's a couple brass items short of a goddamn marching band.
And those aren't even trumpets. It's just synthesized trumpet sounds from a keyboard that are on the song.
But at least they're kind of trying.
Yeah.
The way that song should go is like, every time that you get undressed, I hear do 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 do.
What was that?
I was trying. I don't know.
Marching band?
All-purpose fight song. I was trying to.
Fight song. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be much more trumpet heavy.
Will,
right?
do you even know the university's fight song?
I do not.
Oh, what?
The University of Nebraska's? I think it's weird that he doesn't know it.
Why?
Just drop in.
Do you know KU's?
No. Who the fuck knows their school's fight song?
Isn't there what do they play every time they get a touchdown or something?
Right,
Is that
that's
it?
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
You don't know their song. You don't know. No, I'm not saying
No.
lyrics.
No.
You don't. So
Da, 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 da. That might be it. I have a
That
tune
was
in my head.
my high school's.
Well, that's the thing about fight songs. They all sound the same. Like they're all major key riffs with trumpets.
Right.
So yeah.
It's just really strange that was literally my high. Like,
Da,
I'm sure
da,
there's
da,
different
da,
words
da,
for it
da,
for
da.
you, but for me it's cheer, cheer for old SMH. Old SMH has not any.
Are we
mate.
thinking of the generic? Oh, my wife just came into the room shaking her head. Come here. You know the KU fight song? Can't remember the first 3 words. Hum it into Jason's mic.
Glorious to view stands our noble alma mater, towering towards the blue.
That can't only be KU.
KU.
No, it can't only be KU because as we already established, it's also St. Mary's in O'Neill, Nebraska.
Right.
So that's why this song is so successful. They steal the generic fight song of every high school and college ever and add Jason Derulo's lyrics. That heavenly falsetto.
Brilliant, Derulo.
But do they even really add that? Like, that's the chorus. Here's what the verses to this song are. Like, it's just saying other musicians and saying that they're able to create like something that's evocative. Like, is it weird that your ass reminds me of a Kanye West song? Is it weird that your bra remind me of a Katy Perry song? Like, no, it's fucking weird that you didn't write a song. You just gave us a list of other people's music to listen to if we want to feel something evocative.
Yeah, it's the playing the lottery of songwriting.
I will
the,
say
the laziest way to acquire a good song.
in this song before the trumpets play, he goes, "And they go." And as far as I know, that's a pretty gratuitous racial slang against Italians. And so I just thought I'd point that out.
Well, there is a funny. When I was listening to this song earlier today and editing this, there is a weird element of this song too that feels like educating a small child about animal noises, like "and the trumpets go." And the drums go.
Doot 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 doot.
And the guitar goes twang.
And
the bass goes boom.
And the cow goes murr.
Now, in fairness, I didn't know that before because I'm not a musician.
Yeah.
But like the most offensive example of that is at the very end. The last time he does like the bring it in, he's bringing in the trumpets. What he says the last time, they have to switch it up for like the closing, like, bring down on the song. But then it just like instead of me humming, it actually just goes doot 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 doot.
Right.
And
They
then-
hum a trumpet sound.
And then he yells like, from the background, a cappella on it. That's not how trumpets work. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I'm pretty sure that's not how trumpets work.
Right. And I feel like the conceit of the song is fairly juvenile, which is he just starts out and he's like, "When I see you naked, that makes me hear da 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 da."
Right.
Like,
Like,
really?
Is it weird that every time you get undressed, like I hear, like,
A
is it weird?
sim,
Is it weird that I hear
funny.
trumpets when you're turning me on? Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's not a real erotic instrument, I don't think.
no.
Maybe a nice smooth jazz solo on the saxophone, sure.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Oh,
I don't know what's happening.
oh, we're all making our sex noises.
Okay, all right.
Let's move on to our next. Our other Slop 40 song for this week is by a person for whom this is apparently a real name, Tovlo. The song is called Habits.
I looked up this person's name earlier today. She is Swedish. Like, this person is from Sweden.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, one of those stereotypical Swedish names.
So let's see if we can hear the Swedish accent in this one. Not hearing it yet.
I eat my dinner in my bathtub, then I go to sex clubs, watching freaky people getting it on. It doesn't make me nervous, if anything, I'm restless. Yeah, I've been around and I've seen it all. I get home, I got the munchies, binge on all my Twinkies, throw up in the tub, then I go to sleep.
Wow.
All right, Will, tell us about Sad Kesha.
Oh my God, Sad Kesha is perfect. There's one very small thing. This song is called Habits, and like the chorus of this song is just saying, like, you're gone and I gotta stay high all the time.
Right.
When did we stop using euphemisms for drug terms? We can just say that shit on the radio now?
Yeah, I think it was
Everybody's cool with it?
the turn of the century. 2001. We stopped giving a fuck.
Am I that old? I don't know. I thought I was only in my 20s.
I just guessed.
Okay, I want to go back because to the verse you just heard, that the opening verse of this song. This is how fucked up things have gotten. All right, here's how it starts. I eat my dinner in my bathtub, then I go to sex clubs, watching freaky people getting it on. It doesn't make me nervous. If anything, I'm restless. Yeah, I've been around and I've seen it all. Okay. I've often wondered what was going to ever offend me in music.
Okay.
And there's the thing. There's nothing about this that's offensive by itself, except for the idea that going to a sex club is boring. Like it's assuming such a level of desensitization on my part. But I'm like, yeah, of course. Just like watching strangers fucking in a club like we all do.
From what I understand, we'll get James Lindsay in here sometime to tell his story about accidentally going into a sex club in Prague. It turns out it's scary.
It seems like it would be scary. Okay, but here's the weird contrast it draws. Because then the very next verse after that is, I get home, I got the munchies, binge on all my Twinkies, throw up in my tub, then I go to sleep. Like, it just goes from, like, the most insane thing I've ever heard to, like, a regular Thursday night. It's really weird.
I'm just reading Jason's face, and I can see the cloud bubble above his head, and he's wondering if this is one of his ex-girlfriends he went out with at one point.
We're like, which one?
Yeah. This kind of sounds like Jessica. What's her name again? Tovlo?
Tovlo.
Toblerone?
I called her Jessica. Tovlo?
Okay, we're digging in. Oh fuck! I just bumped the thing on the thing, and then I told you about it, which made it worse. We're getting into the second verse. I'm gonna fucking sing it. I just got it. In my
Do it.
Pick up daddies at the playground. How I spend my daytime. Loosen up the frown. Make 'em feel alive. Oh, make it fast and greasy. I'm numbing way too easy. The The only thing I want to
Stop.
the only
Sorry.
thing I want to say about that is that fast and greasy is the most unpleasant way I've ever heard someone describe their own sexuality.
If only that was legitimately a turn on.
Boom, nailed it.
No.
Fast and greasy is like,
That's McDonald's food.
yeah.
Another Will Dougherty segment that we're not doing today, but I played the drop.
I'm just saying, if Tovlo wants it fast and greasy,
She knows where to go.
that's enough for me.
That was Slop, Will Dougherty's Slop 40. Thank you very much. Let's do some news. Let's talk about some news stories. We got a few news stories, Josh.
Yes, we do.
Let's do a couple news stories and then we'll call it.
Joshua
Vossler News.
Everybody. No, your other right kidney. A federal inmate entered surgery in February, February 2013, thinking he would soon be free of his cancerous left kidney. Instead, he had lost his healthy right kidney. California surgeon Dr. Charles Coonan,
Is that a racial insult?
Coonan?
I'm sorry.
No.
The barbarian.
Failed to examine radiology and diagnostic tests, images and scans, pathology reports, and standard protocol before the surgery, and purely went off his memory as far as like any prep for the surgery. I couldn't help but notice, and I think the dates.
I mean, he was operating on an inmate.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it started off with a federal inmate.
I'm imagining the conversation on the way to the operating room. Here, let's recreate the conversation. I'll be the doctor. Who wants to be the nurse? Who wants to be my nurse? Josh, you're the nurse, and you're going to ask me, about the surgery if I'm ready for it. Will, you are an attorney sitting out in the hallway who just happens to overhear our conversation. And Jason, you are my conscience. All right. And Joshua scene.
Your patient's ready, sir.
Let's fucking do this shit.
Yeah, would you like to see some of the materials before you go?
Nah, I got it.
That's true. He's not paying for it.
Nah, I'm good to go.
The left one.
Shut up, conscience. Let's cut this guy open.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid I can't help but overhear. You have failed to use the appropriate documentation.
Oh my God, a living cartoon. What the hell? Delay the surgery, nurse.
Sir, two-dimensional Americans are citizens just like you.
The walls of my reality are cascading down around me. It must have been all the acid I dropped before performing this right kidney surgery.
Doctor, you're cutting into his head.
And scene.
I got to work on my girl voice.
That was good.
Hey, doctor.
Yeah, so he's just like, nah, I don't need to see the chart. And he just yanked out a kidney.
Yeah, he yanked out the wrong kidney. He didn't follow protocol and got fired, of course, from the hospital. And the hospital got fined by the California Medical Board for $100,000, which is probably nothing.
Did the inmate die of cancer?
No, it says that he's been on probation for 3 months. Or
Cancer?
parole. Yeah.
Cancer probation?
Yeah.
How bad was that kidney if they left the one in that had cancer? How bad was the other kidney?
Well, supposedly, there's a whole protocol, right? You go in, you read the chart. Well, supposedly the first paper he looked at, it said the right one, right? But then you're supposed to double check. You're supposed to take actual images that are taken and look and make sure it's the right one, right? Well, in this report, it said that nurses and even anesthesiologists said that the patient himself said it was the right kidney that was the problem.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that happens. Maybe I don't understand that.
That's what I want to know. What was wrong with this right kidney?
Yeah.
If it was worse than the cancer-stricken kidney?
I feel like maybe this guy just figured man, they fucked this up bad enough. Like, I might just get a leave.
Yeah.
Like if I'm supposed to have here to get my cancerous kidney removed, they take out the wrong one. They'll just be like, fuck it, you got 3 months, get out of here.
Parole.
We'll worry about stealing some kidneys later.
This goes back to my whole belief that most adults are just terrible at their job, and mostly it comes from a lack of attention, an inattentiveness, or lack of attention to detail. And you don't ever think of like doctors or lawyers or teachers, or politicians as being shitty at their job. But I really feel like this is how most people go about their business. It comes back to haunt you every once in a while when you yank out the wrong kidney. But it's the same mistake that a lot of people make miscounting change at a register. It's just in a much more important situation. But it's the same trait of inattentiveness to detail and not giving a fuck about your job.
Or just like being like, I've done a ton of these. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't need fucking pictures. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, like the only people who never make that mistake would be like NASA. Like NASA would never not triple check something.
Really?
Or do they?
You were alive in the 1980s, right?
Well, are you talking about the Challenger?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the one. Is that the one that blew up?
Yeah, it exploded. I don't know if that was somebody's fault, or I don't remember. I don't know.
It was somebody's fault.
Well, yeah. I guess I've always
I mean, that's just one of those no-fault situations, you know?
I've always just chalked that up to sometimes when you're trying to fly a rocket out of the atmosphere, occasionally it'll blow up. Like, I didn't blame anyone for it. Obviously, somebody probably screwed something up, but
Wasn't there one a month ago that didn't even get off the launch pad?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, it was a SpaceX one, I think. One of those they're developing passenger.
Is it like a private corporation
Yeah.
deal?
Mhm.
Nice.
I think it was unmanned, right? Correct? No. Actually,
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
See, I was wrong. The problem
it?
goes all the way to the top, and by the top, I mean space.
I think about it. There was somebody that commented on Facebook like, I love Joshua's news stories because he always raises more questions than he ever answers.
Doctors are incompetent. We've definitively settled it. That is the answer.
And
Proof.
NASA's worse.
And NASA's worse. NASA's worse. All right, let's do one more.
Oh, what swastika? Oh, that swastika? Yeah, that was here when I got here. A Brazilian civil police helicopter flying over a town in Brazil last week spotted a huge swastika painted on the bottom of a giant swimming pool. I will post this on our Facebook page so you can check it out.
Fantastic.
Police who were flying the helicopter in some other related case, like kidnapping or whatever investigation, launched an investigation into the swastika. Turns out, apparently the swastika had been there for the last 13 years
Where was this?
in a town in Brazil.
Okay.
But they have rights in Brazil apparently, and they can't do anything because it's on private property.
That Brazil is where all of the Hitler clones,
right,
were born. Right, were cloned.
right. In this town alone,
You guys remember that, the boys from Brazil?
yeah.
Okay.
I saw a show about Nazi hunters, and they were going to Brazil, and
Nazi hunters.
yeah.
That's still we're still hunting them.
Yeah, you don't even need a permit. I don't think. I think it's like a coyote. You don't need a permit.
They're always in season.
You're right.
Dingoes in Australia, you can always shoot dingoes.
What was it? Yeah. So they can't do anything about the city can't do anything about the swastika. The guy who came the town that this is in, it's like 85 to 90% German live there.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. It's like I don't know. I'd be worried. Since the pool is private land, they can't do anything about it. And we all know, when I say that, me and Jimmy know that there's a lot of the Nazis went there after.
Yeah,
World War
I thought
II.
it was well known that a lot of the Nazi war criminals fled to Brazil.
Joseph Mengele,
Yeah.
he went there.
Mm-hmm. Mengelsons?
Mm.
I don't
The town
It's a store
over-
that sells party supplies.
The town over is it has one of the world's largest Oktoberfest celebrations every year in Brazil.
Nice.
So
Where, yeah, I would like to be at the party where Oktoberfest meets Carnival, and they just have to fight to the death. Like they just encounter each other on a street.
See, now, here's what's interesting to me. Like, I understand what you're saying about how, like, this town's population is, like you said, 85 to 90% German. But as a person of some German heritage myself, I feel like there's not a group of people who'd really like to forget the Nazis more than Germans.
I think the ones that moved to Brazil are those people.
Yeah, I think that a pocket of that ideology has sort of survived, and now they're called Hydra.
I mean, what is the ideology, though? Is the the only thing I know about Nazi ideology is, like, fucking Jews.
Right.
And I don't feel like that's a tenable political platform at this juncture.
It's deeper than that, though. It's racial superiority. It's not just like we don't like Jews. Lots of a lot of Middle Eastern cultures don't like Jews.
As a Jew, a lot of people don't like Jews.
Right. But it's more like racial superiority, you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder, like, this guy must need a lot of suntan lotion, you know what I mean? He's German, for God's sake.
They're not meant for Brazil.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Oktoberfest is alive and well. So there's
imagine that Oktoberfest where it's like
some good game. Oh yeah.
Not only is it one of the world's one of the biggest Oktoberfests, but they take that shit pretty serious.
So
Zig Pilsner.
So wait, here's what I want to know. Because we just Thanksgiving wasn't so long ago, and that's when we as Americans all go back to spend time with our families and listen to our older relatives spout their racist bullshit.
Correct.
So is that like, obviously other countries don't have American Thanksgiving, but is that like Oktoberfest, the equivalent when like everybody goes home and their old relatives get drunk and start talking a little uncomfortable shit about the Jews?
I mean, shit, I had friends in college who would get drunk and start talking uncomfortable shit about the Jews. So, like, you don't really have to go to Brazil to find that.
Grandpa's pulling out his medals again.
All right.
That spiky helmet is really impractical.
And Grandpa just pulled out a pocket full of teeth. I don't know what this is.
Oh, Jesus.
On a necklace. No, that's weird. Anyways. That's going to do it, folks. I think that's a good place to
really?
Stop on.
We're closing on Jew teeth necklace?
Yeah. I mean, we opened on spousal abuse. I feel like we've come full circle. But I am going to leave everybody on a positive note today. Does anybody have shows to plug before we get out of here?
Nope.
I'm doing the Missing Kitten show tomorrow, but that's going to be 2 days in the past when this drops. So.
I heard it went well. I heard he did well.
It was terrible. It was horrible. I completely bombed. Honestly, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of doing it. But I've done it twice, and I've bombed both times. And on both shows, like a bunch of other comedians did well. So it was like there was a good crowd, and I still sucked.
Third time's a charm. You'll do great.
Mm.
Can I take 1 second to just yell at Bo Pelini? Fuck you and your mediocrity. Because of you, you landed on the Holiday Bowl on the 27th, which is when I'm supposed to be doing my show. So now, because of you, I think we're doing my show on the 28th of December, but I'm not sure yet, but we'll plug it here later. I just wanted to say, fuck you, Bo Pelini. I'm glad you got fired. I wish you weren't getting paid like $3 million a year to not coach football.
Yeah, you had a big severance package. I don't know. I'm not invested in Nebraska football, but tune in to the Jimmy Curve in upcoming weeks. Next week we have Monty Peck. Is that right?
Peck.
Monty Peck next week, and then the week after that, Bob Gurnett for our Christmas episode. Join us then. Tune back in, subscribe, download. I'm gonna leave everybody tonight with a song that I just really like, and I wanted to put it on an episode because it's one of my favorite songs, and I feel like everyone should listen to it. So this is a song called Misty Blue by Dorothy Moore. Enjoy, and thank you, and good night.
long time. Look like I get you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you turns my whole world misty blue. Oh, honey, just the mention of your name turns the flicker to a flame. Listen to me, good baby. I think of the things we used to do, and my whole world turns misty blue. Oh, baby, I should forget you. Heaven knows I've tried. Deep in my heart, I know I've lied. I've lied. I've lied. Oh, honey, it's been such a long, long time. Looks like I'd get you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you, my love, my whole world